20 years ago, this week, the college student from Massachusetts crashed her car on Route 112 in Haverhill, never to be seen again.
What really happened to Maura Murray? One moment, she was a smart, athletic young woman with a bright future.
Authorities releasing this new age progression photo of what Maura might look like today.
The next, she vanished without a trace, leaving behind a mysterious car crash and countless unanswered questions. For nearly 20 years, the search has continued, but no one knows where she is. Could she have disappeared on her own? Was foul play involved? And why are there so many theories but no answers? Stay tuned, because you won't want to miss the shocking details of this unsolved mystery. Maura's background. Maura Murray was a smart and athletic young woman, known for her intelligence and achievements. Growing up in the South Shore of Massachusetts, she had a knack for humor, often cracking jokes and making fun of her family. Despite her playful side, Maura was also deeply caring, always looking out for her loved ones. Her brother recalls that while stationed in Korea in the military, Maura would send him care packages and write heartfelt letters, showing her thoughtfulness and love from afar. Maura's academic and athletic skills were evident from a young age. She excelled in school and became a star athlete, setting records in cross country and track. Her dedication and talent earned her recognition not just locally, but in the state as well. It was no surprise when she followed in her brother's footsteps and joined West Point, the prestigious military academy. Maura's brother, who had attended West Point before her, thought it would be a great fit, given her physical abilities and strong academic background. However, West Point wasn't everything Maura had hoped for. Despite her initial excitement, she struggled to adapt to the rigorous lifestyle and academics. After 2 years, she decided to make a significant change. She left West Point and chose to pursue a nursing career at the University of Massachusetts, a decision that marked a major shift in her path. It was a move from military life to the healthcare field, a big pivot, but one that showed her desire to follow her own passions. Maura's life seemed to be on an exciting new path when, on February 9, 2004, she disappeared, sparking a mystery that has yet to be solved. The disappearance the day that Maura went missing was Monday, February 9, 2004. It started like any other day, but things quickly took an unusual turn. Maura sent an email to her professor claiming there had been a death in the family, a statement that was later revealed to be false. She packed up her room, gathered a few belongings, and left her dorm. Her next steps were puzzling. Maura withdrew most of the money from her bank account at an ATM and then stopped by a liquor store where she bought several bottles of alcohol. Afterward, she got into her car and began driving, but it wasn't clear where she was headed. Investigators would later discover that she had mapped out a route to Burlington, Vermont, though she never made it there. Maura had ties to New Hampshire, a place her family had visited often. It seemed likely that she was heading there, as she was familiar with the area. By 4:30 p.m., the last known phone call from Maura was made to check her voicemail. From 14:30 to 7:30 p.m., there was no activity on her phone, leaving a mysterious gap in her whereabouts. Around 7:30, Maura's car was found off the road in a small town called Haverhill, New Hampshire. She had crashed, but she was nowhere to be found. That was the last anyone saw of Maura Murray. The investigation, when the police arrived at the scene of the accident, they found Maura's car off the road with the airbags deployed and a rag stuffed in the tailpipe. There was also red liquid, possibly indicating alcohol, and a cracked windshield. Despite these signs, there was no sign of Maura. The car was locked, and she had vanished in just a short amount of time, leaving investigators with more questions than answers. The first person to encounter Maura after the crash was a local resident. The person described Maura as being shaken but not visibly injured. She mentioned she had already called AA, but that raised red flags. The area was remote, with limited cell service, and it seemed unlikely she could have reached AA so easily. As the police searched the area, they found no footprints in the snow, and no trace of Maura's whereabouts. Despite her car being in a remote area, and the icy, snowy conditions, there was no sign that she had walked away. The search intensified, but Maura remained missing, and the investigation seemed to hit a standstill. By Tuesday, Maura's family was frantic. They hadn't been notified immediately, and when they did learn of her disappearance, they were left in the dark. The investigation continued, but there was no clear evidence to explain where Maura had gone or what had happened to her. Theories and rumors as the investigation continued. numerous theories began to emerge about what had happened to Maura Murray. Some believed that she had planned to disappear on her own. The circumstances surrounding her departure, sending a false email, withdrawing money, and purchasing alcohol, seemed to suggest she may have wanted to escape for personal reasons. However, there was no clear explanation for why she would vanish so abruptly. Another theory was that Maura had met with foul play. Despite the lack of physical evidence of violence, the mysterious nature of her disappearance, combined with the strange details at the crash scene, led some to suspect that she had been taken or harmed by someone. The fact that she was last seen alive at the scene of the crash, and yet no one witnessed her leaving, raised further suspicions. Rumors began to spread within the community, with some even suggesting that Maura had been buried in a basement nearby. The family, in desperation, pursued every possible lead, including an excavation of a house where cadaver dogs had signaled, but this turned out to be another dead end. Theories and misinformation also spread online, with the case gaining attention from internet forums and amateur detectives. While the increased awareness helped keep the case in the public eye, it also led to a lot of false claims and speculation, further complicating the investigation. Despite the multitude of theories, the truth remained elusive. What really happened to Maura Murray? Was it a planned disappearance, a crime, or something else entirely? The family's search, as Maura's disappearance stretched from days to weeks, the Murray family's search grew more desperate. Her father, Fred Murray, took matters into his own hands, leading the search efforts in New Hampshire. Frustrated by the slow progress of the official investigation, Fred and the family began scouring the woods and surrounding areas, hoping to find any sign of Maura. Despite their efforts, the police didn't treat the case as a crime initially, as Maura was an adult and could legally disappear on her own. This lack of urgency by law enforcement only added to the family's distress. The family's frustration intensified as they felt the investigation was not being handled properly. The police had not preserved the accident scene as a potential crime scene, and they were convinced that Maura's disappearance wasn't just a case of someone wanting to leave. They pushed for more attention, more resources, and the proper focus on the case, but it seemed like a constant uphill battle. Fred Murray's persistence was unwavering. Every weekend, he returned to the site where Maura's car was found, often alone, trying to uncover any new clues. The family set up their own website to share information and keep Maura's case alive in the public eye, making sure only verified details were shared to combat the rampant misinformation. Through it all, the Murray family has never given up hope. The pain of not knowing what happened to Maura is still very real, but their commitment to finding the truth remains as strong as ever. If you found Maura Murray's story as chilling and heartbreaking as we did, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stay updated with our latest videos. What do you think happened to her? Was it a deliberate disappearance or something more sinister? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and be sure to join the discussion with fellow true crime enthusiasts. And don't miss our next video, The Boy in the Box 70 Years Later, Still No Identity. Coming soon! You won't want to miss this deep dive into one of the most mysterious and heartbreaking cases in true crime history.